Hallway smelled faintly of bleach and old textbooks, the kind of scent that clung to every school no matter how many times it was cleaned. Daniel Carter pushed his mop bucket forward, humming softly to keep himself awake. Another late shift. Another night where the world expected nothing from him except silence and clean floors, but he didn't mind, not really. He had someone waiting for him at home. "Dad, you missed a spot." Lily's tiny voice echoed from behind him, playful and full of mischief. Daniel looked over his shoulder and felt the tension melt from his face. Lily, 8 years old, curly hair tied into 2 lopsided ponytails, was crouched by a locker, swinging her legs as she waited. "I'm starting to think you only come with me to point out my mistakes," he teased. She grinned, hopping to her feet. "Nope. I come because you buy me hot chocolate on the way home." "That too." It was the same routine every evening. He cleaned, she did homework beside him, and they walked home together. Some people pitied him, the single dad janitor, but he didn't care. Lily was his life, his anchor, his reason to push through days that were endlessly plain. Tonight, though, the air felt different. Daniel had just finished mopping near the science wing when he noticed a flicker of movement outside the back exit door. A shadow. Then a muffled cry. He stiffened. "Lily," he said softly, "stay behind me." Her smile faded instantly. She knew that tone. Daniel stepped toward the door, heart thudding, every instinct sharpening. The closer he got, the clearer the sounds became, shuffling, angry whispers, a frightened gasp. He pushed the door open. Under the weak glow of the parking lot lights, 3 men surrounded a girl no older than 17. She wore a backpack, one strap torn, books scattered across the ground. Her lip was bleeding. "Please," she whispered, "just let me go." One man grabbed her wrist roughly. "You think you can talk about us?" "Huh?" Daniel felt something hot flash through him. He didn't think. Didn't calculate. Didn't consider his job, his quiet life, or the consequences. He just moved. "Let her go." The men froze. The girl's eyes darted toward him, wide, terrified, desperate. The biggest of the 3 turned and sneered. "Beat it, janitor. Something's going down here that's none of your business." Daniel stepped forward, angling himself so Lily, still inside but peeking nervously from the doorway, was out of sight. "You grab a scared kid in the dark," Daniel growled, "and that makes it very much my business." The men exchanged looks, amused, dismissive. "Look, man," the smallest one said, "we don't want trouble. Walk away." Daniel's jaw tightened. He could take insults. He could take disrespect. But harm a child? Not on his watch. "No," he said softly. "I'm not walking away." The big guy lunged first. A heavy fist swung toward Daniel's jaw. Daniel ducked. The movement was instinctual, leftover reflexes from a life no one in this school knew about. His hand shot out, grabbed the attacker's arm, and twisted. There was a sharp cry, then a thud as the man crashed onto the pavement. The second man charged. Daniel pivoted, slammed his elbow into the guy's ribs, then swept his legs. Another body hit the ground. The third, now panicked, pulled out a switchblade. The streetlight glinted off the metal. Lily gasped from the doorway, "Daddy." That voice changed everything. Daniel stepped between his daughter and the blade, his entire body coiling with a fierce, protective fire. "Put it down," he warned. The man lunged. Daniel sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, and slammed it against the wall. The knife clattered to the ground. A sharp kick sent the man sprawling beside his buddies. Silence. 3 grown men groaning on the pavement. A terrified girl trembling near the scattered books. Daniel standing in the middle of it all, chest heaving, adrenaline still burning through him. Lily ran to him and grabbed his hand. "Daddy, you saved her." Daniel knelt, brushing her hair back. "I told you, sweetheart. I'll always protect you and anyone who needs help." He looked at the girl. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, tears falling. I didn't know what to do. They said I snitched about some stuff they were doing behind the gym." Daniel sighed. "You're safe now. Let's call someone to get you home." He didn't call the police, he called the principal. Not because he feared trouble, but because dragging law enforcement into a situation involving minors could complicate everything for the girl. He stayed with her until her parents arrived, until the attackers limped away into the night, and until Lily was yawning against his shoulder. When the girl's mother hugged him with shaking hands, Daniel only said, anyone would have done the same. But he knew that wasn't true. Most people would have walked away. By the time he and Lily reached home, it was past midnight. She fell asleep on the couch, clutching her stuffed bunny. Daniel covered her with a blanket and sank into the worn-out armchair. He rubbed his forehead, finally letting the exhaustion hit him. 3 grown men. And I fought them like it was nothing. He hadn't used those skills in years, skills he had promised himself he'd buried when Lily was born, but tonight proved something. They were still there, just beneath the surface, and someone, somewhere, had noticed, because the next morning, as he walked into the school ready for another ordinary day, the front office secretary swallowed nervously and pointed toward the hallway. "Mr. Carter, someone's here to see you." Daniel turned and froze. A tall, broad-shouldered man in a crisp navy uniform stood waiting. Medals glinted on his chest. His posture was perfect, his presence commanding. Students parted around him like he was a walking wall. A U.S. Navy admiral in this small-town high school, and he was looking directly at Daniel. Their eyes met. The admiral's stern expression didn't waver, but something dangerous, something calculating flickered behind it. He stepped forward. "Mr. Carter," he said in a deep, authoritative voice, "we need to talk." Daniel's heartbeat quickened, because this wasn't just a thank you. It wasn't a coincidence. This man knew something Daniel had kept hidden for years, something that was never supposed to surface again.